Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Today we have to discuss about the concept of Sunnah. This topic containing three major elements. First one is literal and technical meaning of Sunnah. The second one, importance of Sunnah. And the last, kinds of Sunnah. Now, the first thing that is containing the literal meaning of Sunnah. Literally, Sunnah means a clear path or an established course of conduct, and it may be said by an individual or people or a community. According to its original meanings in the Arabic language, Sunnah means a way regardless of whether the intended way is praiseworthy or hateful. This is literal meaning of Sunnah. And now the explanation, or we can say that the literal meaning of Sunnah with the example. As Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said in his hadith that whoever sets a precedent for a good Sunnah, then he has its reward and the reward of all who apply it until the day of the resurrection. And whoever sets a precedent for an evil sunnah, then upon him is its sin and the sin of all who apply it until the day of resurrection. The word sunnah that is utilized by also Arab is they used word sunnah in reference to the ancient and continuous practice of the community which they inherited from their ancestors. Later on, the term Sunnah was applied to the practice of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The opposite of Sunnah is Bid'ah or innovation. All these literal meaning of Sunnah indicated that what is meant by the term. That is, according to the hadith of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, anyone who has done some kind of good activities and he established that activity, and after him all persons who are going to do that same activity or action which basically established by somebody, by that person, all the reward should be uh, received by that person because that is a good sunnah, and it is also used in sadaqah jariyah, either in the good way or in the bad way. This hadith highlights the literal meaning of sunnah according to the in the light of hadith. Now, this word sunnah that is also utilized by Arab as it is mentioned in the literal meaning, that is a practice or community actions which they received from their ancestors. Okay, then technical meaning of sunnah. What is meant by the term sunnah according to the technical meanings? All what is narrated from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, including his actions, his sayings, and whatever he has tactily approved. In addition, all the reports which describe his physical attributes, that is known as khilqiyya, and character of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which is known in Arabic khuluqiyya, are also considered as the Sunnah. It means the technical meanings highlight that there are two things. Whatever Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam in his physical appearance, in his way of wearing the clothes, the way of talking, and the another thing, khuluqiyya, that Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam moral values are all considered as the under the category of sunnah. Therefore, sunnah can be used to describe the path that people follow. Now, the in continuity of the technical meaning of sunnah, according to the Islamic terminology, it applies to a prophetic way, which includes references to the Prophet ﷺ sayings, his actions, and his approvals, physical features, and character behaviors as his actions relate to anything he did, as authentically reported by the companions. May Allah be pleased with them. This is brief introduction of Sunnah, technically and literally. Now we have to move towards the importance of Sunnah. Sunnah is considered, as we know that, the second most important source of Islamic law and teachings after the Quran. It clarifies, it explains, and expanded upon the Quranic verses, providing practical guidance for Muslims. Now, the importance of Sunnah here, we have to understand that how, as it is known as, the Sunnah is the second most important source of Islamic law. If we think about these three terminologies, that how Sunnah clarifies and how it explains and how it expanded, what about the Quranic injunctions? As there are many verses of Quran which highlights the importance of Sunnah. For example, in Surah Al-Hashr, verse number 7, in which Almighty Allah said that أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم وما آتاكم الرسول فخذوه وما نهاكم عنه فانتهوا. This verse clearly highlighted the legal status of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his character and his sunnah, that however or whatever he has, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam gives you, you have to take it, and whatever he forbids you, you must avoid from those things. This verse clearly highlighted the legal status of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Whatever he clarifies, whatever he forbidded, we must avoid from those things, and we must give or adopt all those actions and all those commandments of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If I say, actually, we cannot survive or we cannot understand the Quran without the highlighting or without the taking source of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Frankly speaking, if I say that we actually cannot understand the Quran, its commandments, and it's all about, as it is basically the guidebook, and without taking the source of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we cannot survive. Now then explains, in Quran there are a brief commandments of Almighty Allah. For example, if we take the example of our worships, if we take the example of salat, in Quran, Almighty Allah said that aqimus salata wa atuz zakat. If we take the example of salat, we cannot understand what is a methodology of performing prayer, because there is no such guideline, practical guideline mentioned in Quran in which the mode of performing prayer mentioned. Almighty Allah just ordered in His commandments that aqimus salat, establish prayer. But how can we perform prayer without taking the guideline of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam's practical demonstration, in which there is a hadith of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam in which he highlighted that "Sallu kama ra'aytumuni usalli," how that you have to pray as you observing me while I am performing prayer. This hadith clearly indicate that how Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam taught the mode of prayer, performing prayers, to his companion Sahaba Rizwanullahi ta'ala alayhim ajma'in, without giving his guideline regarding the prayer. No one, or if I say even companions, didn't understand the performing prayers. They observed Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and after that they communicated or they transmitted all those actions with regarding to performing prayers or whatever, and then expanded upon the Quranic verses. There are many verses of Quran which highlighted this importance, or if I say the expanded upon the Quranic verses, like there is a verse of Surah An-Nahl in which Almighty Allah said that وَمَا أَنزَلْنَا إِلَيْكَ الذِّكْرَ لِتُبَيِّنَ لِلنَّاسِ ما نزل إليهم ولعلهم يتفكرون. We have revealed towards you this zikr so that you may examine, so that you may explain whatever revealed to them. To Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, the basic duty of Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is explain whatever Almighty Allah revealed towards him. It covers all the things, all the actions, all the commandments of Allah which related to the worship, like prayer, like zakat, compulsory charity, in which there is a commandment of Almighty Allah that wa'atu zakat, and give almsgiving in the way of Allah. But there is no mention in Quran the detail how we spend our money in the way of Allah. There are some recipients of zakat mentioned in Quran, but the detail how we expend or how we spend our wealth in the way of Allah, and how should we take share from the basically the nisab of zakat. There is no mention in Quran, like how much in gold and how much in cash, and whatever the detail of kettles, all the things, all the detail explained by the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam practices and how he demonstrated in throughout his life. So the Sunnah is very important. Without Sunnah, there is no survival of our lives, either with relevance to the worship, with relevance to the dealing system, and with relevance to the practical guideline, either related to the business, to the politics, whatever the aspect of human lives. So, Sunnah is very important. Without knowing or without adopting all those steps, all those actions, and all those commandments of Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, we will not survive. So Sunnah is very important and is considered second most important source of Islamic law and teachings of the Quran. We understand or understood from this importance of Sunnah that it clarifies, it explains, and expanded upon the Quranic verses, providing practical guidance for Muslims. How it clarifies? By giving the practical guideline, by giving the practical demonstration with regarding to salat, prayer, zakat, or fasting, and how it explained and how it expanded upon the Quranic verses, providing practical guidance for Muslims. Now, the last thing, that is kinds of sunnah. Sunnah is basically divided, or if I say the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam's actions, like his character, his khilqiyya, which we highlighted in our past things. That kinds of sunnah, legal sunnah, and kinds of sunnah, non-legal sunnah. The first one is legal sunnah, that is prophetic activities and instructions as the head of a state and as a judge. This thing or this legal sunnah covers all those commandments of Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam which he demonstrated in his sayings or through his actions, which with relevance to the prayer, performing prayer, with relevance to the giving zakat, with relevance to the performing or observing fasting in the month of Ramadan, the timings, the all the detailed relevance to the relevant to the fasting. And another thing that is in the dealing system and the business ethics and transactions and the politics and dealings with the foreign policy, whatever Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam's guideline as a head of state on as a sharia, that is known as the lawgiver, all the things considered legal sunnah, and we have to bound to adopt all those commandments of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and we implement it in our lives. We have to bind to take all those guidelines as a legal of sunnah. The another aspect of non-legal sunnah, that is sunnah ghair tashri'iyya, are the natural activities of the prophets. Al-Fa'al al-Jibiliyya, that is the manner in which Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the non-legal sunnah is considered as the humanly activity of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, as he ate whatever the mode of you can say that the food which he ate, and he slept, he dressed, and such other activities. If we think about that, we are because these things considered as a cultural basis, the way of food, the mode of food, if I say, the mode of dressing activities, like which type of clothes he wear and he dressed, and such other activities. And if I say the mode of transportation which he utilized in his life, all those things considered as sunnah ghair tashri'iyya or sunan zawaid, and we cannot fully um, forced to adopt all those non-legal sunnah. If we are not performing or adopting all those non-legal sunnah, we cannot be considered as you can say that the tariq sunnah. This is called adat or habit of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Certain activities may fall in between legal and non-legal sunnah. So, under this topic, if we concluded that we understand or discuss three things. Number one is literal and technical meaning of Sunnah, in which we highlighted that literally Sunnah considered as a habits or the way of life or the path of anyone. And according to the technical definition, Sunnah is considered as the actions, sayings, or silent approval of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam throughout his life, either in the way of his khilqiyya or khuluqiyya. And after that, we discuss the importance of Sunnah in the light of Quranic verses, which highlighted that Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam's importance and legal position, which we cannot left behind. And if we do not take the process of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam's adoption, we cannot understand and we cannot survive. So Sunnah is very important for uh, living a good life. And the third thing, which that is kinds of sunnah, legal sunnah or non-legal sunnah. Legal sunnah, all those activities, those are relevant to our guideline, are considered is very important, and we have to adopt all those activities because it is given by Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and it is ordered by Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam to do and to avoid all those things. We have to follow all those consideration or the commandments of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And the non-legal sunnah, sunnah ghair tashri'iyya, that is the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam's humanly activities, humanly way of life, way of or taking food, or the dress, the clothes, and the way of transportation, all such other activities considered under the non-legal sunnah. This is all about related to the concept of sunnah. Thank you very much.